Dream Sports represents this cutting-edge transformation, which is part entertainment, part technology, and wholly disruptive. Please join me in welcoming the CTO of Dream Sports, Amit Sharma, for his address on AI in sports.
Over the last decade or so, we've invested deeply in AI, ML, and have seen incredible results. But after seeing the impact that AI can have on fantasy sports, we're also seeing how AI is revolutionizing sports itself. From athlete performance to game strategy, and from fan engagement to scouting. AI is reshaping every aspect of the game. Fantasy sports itself is not just a game, it's a phenomenon. And at the heart of it is Dream 11, the world's largest fantasy sports platform. We have 230 million users on our platform that play and engage with sports across 12 different sports. We have a platform that powers and is capable of supporting and has supported at peak 15 million concurrent users on our platform, and resulting in more than, behind the scenes, doing more than 40 million transactions per day and crunching more than 45 terabytes of data to give a seamless user experience when anyone comes onto the Dream 11 app. From the dynamic contests that we develop, that we generate and show to our users, to real-time fraud detection, and from predictive analytics to fraud prevention. Everything is powered by AI. So AI is at the core of everything that we do. And we are very excited now to explore what AI can do in the domain of sports. So just to understand what immersive live experiences basically means, let's think of a very nice hypothetical example. Imagine it's T20 World Cup 2026 and the final matches between India and Australia at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. And it's the last ball, Bumrah is bowling, the crowd is going nuts, 4 runs to win. And you're enjoying the action, but you didn't get the ticket for it. You're sitting in your home watching it on the screen. Now imagine if suddenly, with the power of AI, you could actually get that same experience sitting in your living room. Virtual stadiums are bringing the fan experience, this kind of live experiences, closer to you and bringing it to the fan wherever you are. With AI-powered virtual stadiums, you get to choose your seat in the stadium wherever you want to sit. You get to see the match in the view that you want. Do you want the view from the dugout? Do you want the view that the umpire sees? Or do you want a view when Bumrah is actually bowling right at the batsman? Do you want that view? And then you combine that with the 360 surround sound of the stadium. And at the end of the day, you have AR overlays on top of what you're actually seeing. That gives you real-time stats, that gives you win probabilities, and gives you ball tracking. The experience of visualizing and watching a game would never be the same. And this is just one aspect of how virtual stadiums in AR, VR can transform. But what about passive viewing? What if you're actually watching the game and then you get lots of highlights when you watch real life? But what if these highlights are personalized for you? AI can understand you completely and give you the sports insights that you want to see, can give you the highlights that are custom developed just for you based on your favorite players or things that you like to see. How about your second screen experience? Dream 11, the fantasy sports platform itself, is a perfect example of a second screen experience which lets you engage with the sports a lot more while watching a game. But how about having a second screen where you can have things like you play prediction games on top of the game that is going on in real time, they update. What is there are polls that are generated? All these are powered by AI and can really enhance the experience of a fan when they're actually engaging with a real world game. Like, just to give you a couple of examples, in the US, in NBA, in 2024 in the All-Stars game, they already experimented with this. They had 110 cameras in a basketball court and created a view and customized a viewing experience for all the fans that were not present in that court to watch that game at that point of time. So these explorations across different sports have already started, and it very soon I think is going to be translated into cricket as well. F1 already does this. It uses AI to actually use very personalized highlights as well as very personalized views for each and every user. Gives you the prediction of the races. It gives you the views from what the driver sees, and gives you all kinds of stats that you are actually very interested in. The same thing is applied to cricket as well. So the real-time win predictor that you see on the screen during IPL games, etc., is actually powered by AI. That is in real-time crunching the data, crunching historical data, as well as live situation to predict the probability of who's going to win the match. But I want to talk about this. Talent development is where the true story of AI actually begins. And I want to again talk a little bit about something that's very important to India as a country. Let's talk about scouting. AI-driven scouting platforms today have the ability to discover, nurture, and develop athletes like never before. So the way it works is you analyze match footage, you analyze biometric patterns, as well as technical movements of players, and identify talent in various underserved regions where earlier no one would reach. This actually kind of levels the playing field. It removes biases, and suddenly it gives the sports federations a much larger pool of talent to pick their players from. Again, think of a scenario where in today's day and age, maybe in a small city in Jharkhand, a boy is playing football. He's like, but there's no scouts. There's no scouts in the stadium. How do we discover this player? But now there are AI-powered cameras that are tracking his dribbling efficiency, his acceleration bursts, his passing accuracy. And the same systems are generating reports. So earlier this talent would be hidden, but now an AI-generated report of this player about his talents will be given to all the clubs across the country. Sports will no longer just be about luck and opportunity. It's going to become more and more about data. And it's going to give us a lot more talent from various parts of the country than ever before. Again, an example of how it is actually happening. This is the talent development also has multiple parts. One is the discovery of talent and actually nurturing and grooming them. But what about the existing players itself? Can they do things differently? Well, they definitely can. Like, think about the way players train today. We have wearable tech like Whoop, and AI can take real-time data take all the data from these variables and analyze and understand muscle fatigue, stress levels of players, and give them advice. Whoop as a wearable technology, for example, today tracks your stress levels, tracks your sleep patterns, and tracks your strain patterns, and coaches you exactly when you should be resting and when you should be training harder for peak performance. This is what makes a difference, because this directly ties into your injury prevention and rehabilitation. Once these AI systems understand that at what point you need to push harder, at what point you need to back off, if they can analyze your movements a lot better than your coaches in general, and they can tell you at the right time when you're very, very close to an injury. If you have systems like this and if you use them well, then we would have known that when Bumrah is bowling again and again in the Australian series, in the test matches, at what point we should have reduced his workload so that he's not out of action for the next 3 months. This is what we want for the future when it comes to talent development and how our athletes can be supported with the power of AI. So with talent development as well as real-time fan engagement, they're also kind of, unfurling a new story, which is much bigger, which is economic growth. How does that happen? Let's think about job creation, for example. With AI-driven fan engagement, there are tons of jobs that are opening up in the areas of data analysts, machine learning scientists, AR, VR experiences. There's a lot of innovation happening in the startup system. A lot of startups are being formed each and every day in the sports tech domains of variables, or as I said, scouting platforms, or for tooling that's needed for broadcasting. It's fostering a new wave of entrepreneurship and innovation in this domain. You can have you can have a public and a private partnership. So what can happen is states can partner with private tech platforms and invest in grassroots tournaments, can invest in youth programs, and can invest in, again, using the same technologies to track, to identify, and scout players from different districts. This will result in a lot of representation across the country. When it comes to policy decisions, like having the ability to analyze which areas of the country are underrepresented, which areas are what kind of participation are we getting. So when you're making decisions about funding and expansion and investing into various areas, you make data-driven decisions in those areas. And with all of these, there is a direct contributor to direct economic activity as well. When all of these platforms go live and are served, they result in merchandise sales, they result in virtual goods, they result in other sources of revenue that directly contribute to the economic growth of the country. Again, there are a couple of examples. We're talking about Huddle. Huddle is a tool that is very famous, global tool again, which is very proficient in analyzing match footage and has directly resulted in a lot of new opportunities created for people, because with tools like Huddle, scouting, for example, becomes very democratized. So new and new people are coming in the areas of sports analytics. New jobs are getting created across the globe where people are using tools like Huddle and starting new careers. Similarly, Viscot. Viscot is similar scouting platform that is available out there. So all the football academies, a lot of football academies and clubs across Europe are now using Viscot and using it for scouting across different countries. What happens is, because of tools like this, there are new jobs around sports analytics and other domains that are opening in smaller cities across the globe, which probably would not have been possible because the infrastructure that is needed at that point is not there. But with these kind of tools, new jobs and new opportunities are being created in various corners of the globe. In India, it's not that we are starting from scratch, right? We already have initiatives. So we have initiatives like Hello India, which is targeting grassroots disruption in terms of how we actually identify our players, right? So it can be strengthened. It can be strengthened with AI to achieve what it wants to do, to improve the talent diversity that it wants and to train people and for performance analysis. We have Startup India, which has already invested in a lot of startups across the country today in the domain of, again, wearables, broadcast technologies, fan engagement, etc. And under the hood, the Digital India initiative of like creating the backbone, the infrastructure backbone, the data governance, the cloud access, the connectivity, that is what ties everything together. Because without that underlying infrastructure, none of these AI-powered applications, none of these startups, nothing is even possible. So with all of this, I believe that India is at the cusp of standing at a place where it's ready to actually ride the wave of AI. In the end, I would say that at this point, maybe as compared to some of our global peers, we may not be as far off in this journey of AI. And a lot of investments going across the globe, and all of these examples that I talked about are all global today. But I think with India's scale, ambition, talent, etc., I think we have the ability to actually not even catch up with those global pioneers, but also be leading the way eventually in this AI transformation in the field of sports. Thank you. That's all I had.
We are joined by the co-founder and CEO, DreamSetGo, Monish Shah, who will share insights on what is redefining sports tourism with editor, Output Desk at Times Now, Meghna Deka.
Welcome to Times Now Summit, Monish. It's a pleasure to have you here. And I think it's one of the smartest business ideas I've heard in a very long time, because it's an innovation. You literally built a new segment for yourself when you managed to put together India's love for sports. You combine that with travel and adventure, and with that you gave a spin of luxury. I think you've hit a big six with it. That's what you're doing, isn't it? Building a dream.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Pleasure being here. I've always been a very big sports fan, and I love traveling. So I think it's a dream for me under the Dream Sports universe to create DreamSetGo. Where sports and travel come together, and we help passionate Indian sports fan experience sports like never before.
So what are these experiences that you're talking about? Let's just start with some of the best curated experience that DreamSetGo has put together for its customers.
Absolutely. You know what, I'll start off first with telling you a little story about how DreamSetGo came into existence. In my previous life, I was a banker for nearly 10 years. I was with Deutsche Bank, and I used to travel to London pretty often from work. And I've been a huge Chelsea Football Club fan. And every time I'd go to London, I'd want to get tickets to watch a Chelsea game. And I never had a proper solution. I didn't know who to go reach out to, how to get hospitality tickets, how to get any kind of sports experience. I would see all these people standing, watching the players warm up from the pitch side. And I would always wonder, how are these people getting these kind of experiences, where to get that special access from, etc. And that's how the idea came to me first, saying there's got to be a good, trusted brand in India.
You're a sports fan first, essentially.
I've always been a sports fan. So I was one of those kids that would wake up at 4 a.m. to watch Rahul Dravid bat. Huge cricket fan. Loved football growing up. Played a lot of sports myself. I wish I was better at it. But loved playing it nevertheless. And, when I wanted to venture into my entrepreneurial journey, I was very, very clear that it had to be something around sports and travel. So when I went to this idea to the founders of Dream Sports, asking for investment, we said we'd love to make sports better by solving a real problem in how Indians get to witness sports domestically and internationally, and creating higher standards of sports travel. And I think they loved the idea and came on board to invest into DreamSetGo, and that's how it was born in 2019.
But it's not just about watching sports. A lot of us watch sports. We've always watched sports since we were kids.
Yeah.
You're talking about interacting with sports, a completely different level of experience. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. And, what we want to do is we want to make sure that it's an experience which is it's exclusive, it's intimate, and it's interactive, right? So what we do is over the last 5 years, we've been exclusive agents for the Paris Olympics. We've been official agents for the last 3 Cricket World Cups. We were also official agents for the Champions Trophy that happened in Dubai and Pakistan right now. We have tied up with F1 experiences to give clients access to all F1 races. We've tied up with Grand Slams to give them access to tennis tournaments. We were exclusive agents in India for Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea Football Club. So across all the sports, we want to ensure that clients not only get the best tickets, the best hospitality, but I think it goes beyond the game, right? It's about building and stitching an entire experience around that. So we give you access to watch the first team train, go pitch side, take a private tour of the stadium with legends of the game, host your board meeting at...
with the sportsmen themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in a lot of these private stadium tours that we've done, we'll have one of the legends of the game come in, walk you through the stadium, give you stories about the stadium, and then you can host your private board meeting.
You have to give examples for that.
Sorry?
Tell us. I know I'm wearing a blue sari. I think I'm going to turn green very quickly.
Yeah.
But then do tell me, who are these sports persons that you've had tie-ups with? Tell us about...
So I think we've done more than around 200 sports experiences like this, where we've had, I would say around 75% of these have been with cricketers, but we've also had experiences with footballers and with F1 race car drivers and badminton legends and tennis legends, etc. In fact, one of our recent ones was in December. Andre Agassi had come down, and we did an event in Bombay for 100 of our clients. It was a fireside chat between him and Leander Pace. And wow. It was a very private experience where he shared stories from his life, and it was a great experience.
So India's always, historically or perhaps traditionally, has been a cricket primary kind of a viewership that we've seen. But that seems to have changed. That seems to have changed considerably. How is the landscape of sports changing, and how are you adapting to it? Because you're offering an experience in sports. It's not just about cricket anymore.
I think cricket continues to dominate. We can't take the love of cricket away from Indians. Would you put a percentage to it?
What is the interest percent when it comes to sports travel?
I think internationally, when you're looking at people traveling for sports, out of all the clients that we do, we'd say cricket would be around close to 60% of that, but which is a very positive number for all the other sports. We see huge amount of clients traveling for Wimbledon, F1, football, and these are all expensive sports to watch live, right? Especially with hospitality, they can be ranging from anywhere from 5 lakh rupees to around 12 lakh rupees a ticket, depending on which race day it is or which finals it is for which
Players,
tennis tournament, etc., and then the meet and greets, etc. But there's huge demand, and we are seeing, like I said, 40% of our clients that travel internationally consume this kind of experiences.
What are the other sports which have generated excitement and revenue?
I think besides...
In India, I meant, specifically in India. I was talking domestically.
So domestically, domestically it's picking up. It's over the last 5 years, we've seen a very, very strong shift in people wanting to consume other sports as well. And I think just how our government is, promoting sports, pushing sports tourism domestically as well. We see tons of other sports coming up, tons of other leagues coming up, whether it's going to be very new sports like paddle and pickle and rugby. Within the next decade, you will see at least 10 to 15 strong leagues that will be running within the country. And the hope is that families get out together, watch sports over the weekend, enjoy some quality family time, watching sports and learning from sports and applying their principles in your life, and getting great experiences with companies like ours, right?
Well, excellent to hear about these experiences. I'm sure all of us here are literally thinking in our heads, which would be the one experience that we are going to pick. I think for me, it would be jaunty roads at Masai Mara, and I wish we had more time to ask the audience what their pick would be, but it was a pleasure speaking to you, Monish, genuinely, because this is something that we are getting to hear, and it's very important to push for sports to ensure that we encourage sports, but also the experience of sports, also for us to enjoy sports. I called you the man who's spinning dreams. I think I'll end by saying you're the dream catcher. You've got that dream.
Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you.
Thank you so much.